So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So today we finally got the download for the next part of the Film Red Super Sugo Fest. And most of us assume this will be the last part, but it looks like we're getting at least question mark one more. And yeah, I'm going to talk about that in another video. For this video, I'll focus on the new units. I won't really talk about the steps, they are the same as last one. Part one is bait, really. The only reason I took the bait was that I got both new legends in the first two multis. I just kept going. Uh, uh, Part two is probably the one most people should go for, mostly because Shanks is the only Super Sugo Fest here. He's a Super Sugo Fest guaranteed, while Beckman and Rowe are a normal legend, but will probably not rerun for a while. But as you see, these Sugos are super short, which means part 3 of this is probably coming very soon. Anyway, let's do what I'm here to do, which is talking about the new legends and units. Let's go through the rare recruits first, I guess. They are pretty niche, but not bad. Sun is probably the coolest since he has some cool potential abilities and a unique special. -2 CD, all slots including block to matching, and completely removes bind chip ability. And that's actually really cool. Bind chip ability is one of the most annoying stuff in the game. And this is the only unit in the game that can completely remove it. Like, the only reason that people shit on the bind chip potential ability is that it's so uncommon. But if it was more common, people will go crazy because that is so annoying whenever it pops up. Sunny also resists 2 turns of special reverse and gives you a full board of matching orbs at the start of the quest. Yeah, very cool unit. I'm a fan of the design. No issues with that. This unit is pretty meh though. Reduces spine, decrease chain, resilience, gives damage reduction, and attack boost for quick. Like, it's pretty unique, it's just that the most stuff here are pretty niche. Like, I'm not a believer in reducing resilience in general, since often when there is resilience, they like to do a lot, I feel. But yeah. Pretty cool to get a new Blueno unit though, and we always take a new Kobe unit. As for Gordon, not a bad unit, it's just that there's a lot of units that can remove special bind, paralysis, and the spear. And base attack buffs, I've said this countless of times, they are too low. Plus 800 is a joke. It's like a 1.2 times buff or something. It's very minor. Anyway, let's talk about the legends. I will start with the Ben Beckman and Lakaru legend. And honestly, this is not hyperbole. Of all legends released so far this year, this is probably my favorite for many reasons. And I'll go through them one by one. Firstly, the obvious one, as you see, they are a super class shooter. Finally, first one, that alone. Super hyped for that. But the whole kit is just super amazing. So firstly, -2 CD, automatically this ends up being like, this unit is actually usable in a lot of different stuff, like being speedrun captain is nice in treasure map, arena, like anything that you want to farm, like being a speedrun cap opens up for you being used. Quicken shooters get 1.28 times HP and 5.25 times attack with matching orbs. Otherwise, 5 times attack. And this is cool if your crewmate or unit has barrier pound and you hit a perfect, you reduce 1 turn of damage threshold, damage reduction, or def up. Super unique effect and a very strong effect. And if you run double captain with Beckman and Lakaru, you remove 2 turns with every perfect of all defensive effects. Super interesting. Would have liked if they had a damage immunity as well, but yeah, can't be too picky. So yeah, great captain, of course, and the cool thing is that they keep going with the same theme. Not the special though, the special is his own thing. Quick and shooters get 3 turns of 2.25 times ore boost, 3 turns of 2.75 times chain boundary, and if you already have both chain boundary and or a chain lock and ore boost, you can buff them basically. And it looks like it's independence. You might have ore boost and you can buff it, but still get the chain boundary. So pretty cool. And it's nice that they do this since it just gives more options in general. And if you run double Beckman and Lackaroo, you can just not waste one special. Like, doesn't make much sense to say in arena use one of these stage 3. Like, you might as well use both stage 4 instead, for example. Just more options. And only complaint might be that the ore boost is a bit low. Should have probably been 2.5 times ore boost. And they really have no way of giving matching orbs as well. But the teammates should do something when they do so much by themselves. If you look at the super class, you need 5 or more shooters on the crew. And yeah, I'm not going to complain about that. Push the shooters meta. We need more captains to force you to use shooters. I'm all for it. Reduces damage threshold, damage reduction, and death up by 2 turns. 2 times attack for shooters, and shooters become super shooter. See, that's cool. You get ore boost from special, attack boost from super class, but the big deal, of course, is that we have yet another way to remove the defensive effects. Now we have the captain ability, we have the super class, and the question is, are there more ways to remove the defensive effects? And it is, because we do have super tandem. And you're going to see that they've buffed the super tandem starting with this batch. At least for this batch, you only need 1 specific unit. I presume you still need to hit with 3 units to trigger the super tandem. Otherwise, that's super broken, but we'll see. But basically, you just need Shanks, Yasop, Rockstar, or Usopp, question mark. Possibly foreshadowing of a future legend with Usopp and a certain red hair pirate. We'll see. Anyway, if you max out the super tandem, you reduce all enemies' damage threshold, damage reduction, and death up by 1 turn, and you get a 2 times tandem attack boost to quick and shooters. So the pretty nice versatility and yet another way to remove 1 turn of damage threshold. So yeah, I'm a fan of it. 3 different ways to remove defensive effects. And like if enemies have like a lot of defensive effects, like 7 turns, 8 turns, is still realistic to get it removed without using a special. And yeah, it's just a cool new way to approach content where you don't really need to bring anything to handle defensive effects. And sure, we have units like Cat and Dog who ignores defensive effects, but this also includes Death Up, which is usually the bane of those units' existence. So yeah, I look forward to getting them. We'll see when I get them though. Like, I really like to get them now to play around with, but you really need to focus on the Super Sugos, especially when it looks like we're getting another one so soon. So yeah, we'll see. Support as well, Shanks, Chauzu, Rockstar. And yeah, if they use a damage dealing special, they remove all defensive effects by 1 turn. Should have just been using a special in my opinion. I don't know why they limit it like that. Anyway, Shanks, the new Super Sugo unit. For some reason, it's not really film red Shanks, it's young Shanks. But sure. And yeah, Cerebral Free Spirit Quick, so not the Psy Free Spirit Cerebral that many were hoping for. I'll be honest, this Shanks is super bland if we ignore the super type. The super type obviously saves him, but you can't ignore that it's still a bland unit. It's just despite everything. Anyway, Non-quick characters, 4 times attack. Quick characters, 5 times attack, 1.5 times HP. Type effects of normal attacks for quick, 1.1 times. Reduces damage taken by 10%. Quick recovery tandem slots have matching slot effects. And slightly boost chance of landing on quick and tandem. So yeah, it feels like 2021 with pushing monocolor like this, and obviously it makes sense when you look at the full kit, but it doesn't change the fact that monocolor is super bland. Would have loved if it was at least one class as well. Like, considering Shanks is so heavily geared towards color affinity, as you'll see, it could have paired well with Uta, for example, but it doesn't really make sense to pair Shanks with Uta, except for like potentially Shanks sub, but Shanks is a that great sub under quick anyway, so yeah. Special, 10% HP cut. Full board orb manip, true block orbs. Left column quick, right column tandem. 1.4 times chain boost for 1 turn. You'd get a guaranteed 2.25 times call affinity for the crew, but if you have 5 or more quick units, it's 2.75 times call affinity for quick instead. And if you already have a chain boost, for example by using Shanks as special and then using a second Shanks, you both buff it by plus 0.5, but you also reduce damage reduction and damage result by 7 turns. Yeah, we're going to be fun to see how this went, how much damage reduction and damage result and everything it is, with both Shanks and Beckman and Rowe having ways to remove it. But yeah, this is basically like, sure, it's cool. It's like an variation of V2 Shanks. Like, you got the full board orb manip, you got the chain boost, but instead of attack boost, it's a call affinity boost that is higher. So obviously, like, when you read like Captain and then special, you're like, yeah, this isn't that hype. But then you check the super type, and I'm sure most of you are already aware, like, you further buff the call affinity and you change the enemy to strength type. But you can't change your super type enemy, which I think is fair. Like, you need to balance it some way. But in the end, like, the most hype for this will be to use it against Kizuna super bosses, but now that's impossible basically. Like, they maybe remove it for next Kizuna just to let you try it out, but yeah. It will be still be fun to meme though, like, imagine any arena and you change the boss to strength type. It just lets you try out more weird combinations and stuff, so I'm going to enjoy playing around with it, but yeah, it does feel a bit cheap that like, this basically saves the unit, so as said, like, this alone doesn't change the fact that this Shanks is bland in my book. And as for, I'm not sure if you saw the condition, but basically any Raider Pirate or Luffy or Uta. Super Tandem, probably the best Super Tandem in the game. This is basically the Super Tandem Luffy's Super Tandem, except you only need one specific unit, and you still get the 2.5 times tandem attack boost. I guess it's just for quick, which makes it more restrictive than Luffy's, I guess. No. Luffy's is just free spirit, though, I think. Not sure if it was fighter as well. It's pretty similar. But you also get the cruise type slots and matching slot effects for 1 turn, which is always appreciated. I not even looked at the lower levels, honestly. But yeah, pretty nice when you still get the type slots matching. But yeah, support as well. And here it's just using a special. But it is a nice support Type effects is normal. Basically, 1.75 times color infinite when you use a special. But it's a shame that it's so limited in units that can use it. But it does increase their reliability, I guess. So yeah, honestly, not the most hyped for this since the Super Sugo is pretty boring. And the unit I'd want to pull for is not a Super Sugo, so pulling hard now will be very irresponsible when we know a new Super Sugo is coming very soon. So I'll probably take it easy. I'll probably do a few YOLOs on part 1, like at least the first 5 or something. Get the guaranteed legends, maybe get some level limit break dupes. Then focus on part 2 and we'll see how lucky we get. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.